Pleasure to be able to take a call in this Omnibus Education Amendment Bill. And while, Mr Chair, I would be sorely tempted to talk about another piece of legislation, I'm actually happy to talk about this bill. And as the Minister said earlier, the changes around the student support services fee, this is where the government is on the side of the students. And that's clear, as the previous speaker said, from the comments of the New Zealand Union of Students' Associations. And to quote directly from their submission, Mr Chair, NZUSA is very supportive of the aims of improving transparency, ensuring greater involvement in students in decision-making and improving the accountability of tertiary education providers to the student body. One of the things that was quite apparent when we heard submissions on this particular part of the bill was the great variance between the polytechnics and the universities, and it appears that the polytechs are able to hold their support services at a very low level or actually not charge them at all. So that was one thing that did bother me, Mr Chair, was the significant variation in fees. But rather than talk about something that's sort of been fairly covered quite well, I want to focus more on export education, because this is a government that's focused on growth, this is a government that's focused on jobs, this is a government that is focused on reducing bureaucracy and red tape. And that's where, if you look at export education, it's valued at $2.1 billion. But as we all know, and as what has become very evident from this bill, Mr Chair, this is an opportunity, this is a potential that is significantly untapped. And so what the bill provides for is the rationalisation of organisations. It actually provides them a much clearer focus. If I talk to the export education providers in the Taupo electorate, one of the things that has frustrated them is the fact that there have been these three different organisations trying to promote international education overseas, and they literally trip over one another. So the creation of this new Crown agent, Education New Zealand, will be a significant benefit to be able to make sure that that process of promoting our education overseas is far more streamlined and effective. So the functions of this new Crown organisation, Education New Zealand, will be the promotional and marketing activities, the management of government representation or activities in support of international education, and industry and student support. And it's quite telling, Mr Chair, that we've had very little discussion about this part of the bill. This part of the bill that will grow our economy, get our export sector up and going again. It's been stagnating since 2005, and this is a government who takes export seriously, who wants to grow it, who's willing to invest in it, and to get rid of the barriers that stand in the way of our economic growth. Whereas that side of the House, any opportunity, want to spend more money. They never tell us where they're going to fund it. But this is a fantastic part of this Education Amendment Bill that will improve our economy, grow our economy, currently sitting at $2.1 billion. And we're looking forward to the fact that we can grow that opportunity, grow that potential overseas. It will benefit not only businesses in my electorate, but up and down the country. It's just so fascinating. They're so plugged in, they can't handle the fact that we want to grow the economy and increase export. They just don't want to talk about it. I'm quite staggered, Mr Chair. So I'm proud of our Minister. I'm proud that the Minister has been listening to the sector, has been paying attention to the businesses who operate in that space, and have actually removed some of the barriers for them growing their businesses in a vital part of our economy. We know we do well if we bring students into the country to study. They spend money while they're here. They spend money in Taupo. They spend money in Canterbury. They spend money up and down this country. And that is why, Mr Chair, I think this is a fantastic part of Part 1 of this bill, is the changes and the creation of Export New Zealand. It's fantastic, Mr Chair, and that's why I'm so proud to support this bill.
Moana Mackie.